The vibes here are just a hot girl Jane Austen summer. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gia. I'm a 25-year-old lady who lives in my mom's basement, and I dabble in Twitch content and in booktube content these days. And September is starting a time where I'm going to be doing like themed months for all of the books that I'm going to be reading, because I was trying to find a way to categorize them into these neat little boxes for me to read them all together, because sometimes when I hop around with my genres, it messes up the vibe. Like, if I finish one historical romance, I typically want to read another one. I did write this down in my planner as the Jane Austen Summer Vibes month, because all of these books are set in the Regency era. 3 out of 5 of the books that I'll be reading in September are written by Melanie Dickerson, because sis has got me in a chokehold. What can I say? If you remember from a couple of months ago in my mid-July wrap-up, the books I had been reading recently, I picked up a book by Melanie Dickerson called The Viscount's Proposal, and I loved it. It was a 5-star read for me, but it was number 2 in a book series. It was a standalone, but it was in a book series. So I decided to read the first and third of that series. I also wanted to take this opportunity to go through my Amazon Kindle list and find these books to check to see if they were still available on Kindle Unlimited, because bitch, I am poor, but also to refresh my memory on the synopses of these books, because I do like go on Kindle Unlimited at like 3 o'clock in the morning and read through and like add a bunch of books to my wish list, and then I completely forget about them. So I wanted to take the time to not only like, when I categorize all these books, I want to then go back and like remember what they were about before I read them, because then I can actually decide if I want to read them. Like the 5th book in this, I changed it. Like I got rid of it. I reread the synopsis and realized I actually don't want to read this. So the first book is A Spy's Devotion. It's the first book in the Regency Spies of London series by Melanie Dickerson. I already know I'm going to love it. I mean, A Viscount's Proposal was a 5-star read for me, so I have no doubt that this will probably also be like a 4 or 5-star read for me. But I need to feel something. So just to briefly go over the synopsis, it looks like our main man, Nicholas, used to be a British officer who sustains an injury out in the field and returns home to heal. And he fulfills a dying soldier's last wish to deliver his coded diary. And then he goes to attend a ball where he meets the ward of one of the most powerful families in London at the time. It says, determined to maintain propriety, he keeps his distance until the diary is stolen and all clues lead to Julia's guardian. As our boy Nicky traces an evil plot that could be the nation's undoing, he grows ever more intrigued by the lovely young woman. And when Julia realizes that England and the man she's falling in love with needs her help, she finds herself caught in the fray. Will the two succumb to their attraction while fighting to save their country? So this is going to be another book where I'm basically going, okay, now Kith, because Melanie Dickerson really does have me in a chokehold when it comes to the angst. And they tend to be pretty clean books. At least I remember A Viscount's Proposal being pretty clean. I tend to like the more mature books these days, but sometimes I do enjoy like a good clean romance where at the end they just kiss and live happily ever after. That's okay with me too. I did forget to mention that this book series only does have 3 books, so my decision to read books 1 and 3 in the months of September are just to kind of like close it out, because I already read book 2 in July. And the next book is A Dangerous Engagement, which is the last book in the Regency Spies of London series by Melanie Dickerson. And it seems to be about a merchant's daughter named Felicity. She seems to have a very low dowry and receives an unexpected invitation to Lady Blackstone's country home. It's giving me Bridgerton vibes already. Being introduced to the wealthy Oliver Ratley. Ratley is just a funny name for like a British aristocrat. Like, rat. This man's a rat. He's an admitted delight, as is his rather heedless yet inviting proposal of marriage. Oh, he's a fast one. Only when another of Lady Blackstone's handsome guests catches Felicity's attention does she realize that nothing is what it seems at Doverton Hall. Love triangle? I'm intrigued. Government agent Philip McDowell is infiltrating a group of cutthroat revolutionaries led by none other than Lady Blackstone and Ratley. Their devious plot is to overthrow the monarchy, and their unwitting pawn is Felicity. Oh no! Oh my god, she's Katnissing! Now, Philip needs Felicity's help in discovering the rebels' secrets by asking her to maintain cover as Ratley's bride-to-be. Ooh, seems really interesting. So we not only get a love triangle, but then it's also espionage. It's obvious that Philip is gonna be the one that she ends up with, but like I'm always intrigued. Like even when the choice is obvious, or like I know they're gonna get together in the end. I love reading how it happens because there's always like the misunderstanding and the makeup and everything. And of course, it's all to protect the monarchy because, they're always watching. And the last Melanie Dickerson book I'll be reading this month is actually the first book in another trilogy that are of all standalone books. It's the Imperiled Young Widows series. It's called A Perilous Plan, a Regency romantic suspense. Suspense is what brought me into this, where I went, ooh, maybe this one's going to be really a little different. It's going to be different. Our main girl, Penelope, but I'm going to call her Penny, finds herself a widow at the age of 23, having been married for 5 years, couldn't be me, to a man she barely knew. Her husband, David, Lord Hampstead, I'm not going to say his last name, this sounds too official, was a member of the House of Lords who rarely said more than a few words to her in a week's time and often did not come home at night. Because he had a mistress. Or he was gambling. It was one or the other or both. Penny was a penniless that's funny, widow with few friends and only her cold grandmother to lean on. When she finds herself pursued by both English officials and French spies, oh God, it's always the French, she doesn't know who to trust until a handsome member of parliament, Henry, saves her from being attacked and kidnapped. Henry seems so determined to help her, but can she trust him? Henry seems to know more about her husband than she does, that he was unfaithful to her with a young French woman who Penny thought was her friend, that his gambling problem, oh my God, I was right. It was both. That his gambling problem had sunk him deeply in debt and that he had stolen some very important plans that could put the entire country in danger. And now both the French and the English governments think she knows where the plans are. Penny had no idea that her husband stole secret plans and intended to sell out to the French, but no one seemed to believe her except Henry. When she starts to fall in love with him, will he be too embittered from a former lost love, of course, to accept his own growing feelings? But first, they must save themselves from those who would do them harm, or there be no future for them, either together or apart. Aw, cute. This one's gonna be a banger. I think all three of these are gonna be bangers. Like, it's just gonna be so good. Historical romances usually are hits for me. They are a good time. They're a really good time. This is gonna be a good, I don't want to say easy, but this is going to be a good month for me where I'm going to be like reading these books in like 48 hours so that I can read other things in between. Because part of my problem is that, I want to read all these books in between, but then I have other things I want to work on too. Like my little secret project that I said I've been working on that I've barely started working on because I haven't had time to revisit the series and reread the books because I'm too busy reading my August books. So I think this is going to be a really good month for me to actually read more than intended and go through these Regency books and have a good old Jane Austen time and live my best life, but then also at the same time revisiting that book series for my secret little project, and then also reading some other books because I've read a few books that I now want to read the whole series of. So now I got to do that. Book 4 is My Enemy, My Heart from the Ashford Chronicles. It seems to be book 1 of 2, and it's by Laurie Alice Leakes. This is also from the Regency era. I had to actually do some math because it does mention the War of 1812. I did not fully reread these before recording the video because I wanted to, if I was going to have any sort of reaction, I wanted it to be real, but I did see War of 1812 because I was trying to check to see if it said Regency era or not to try to make sure these were all in the same time period. And I had to do some math and look up when the Regency era was and remind myself when this was. But anyway, our main girl's name is Deirdre. Her name is Deirdre Mackenzie, so she is Scottish right off the bat. I know this is going to be a Scottish redcoat love story. So it seems that our main girl is used to being on the water. She seems to be from a seafaring family owned by her father. It says she's happier wearing breeches and climbing the rigging of the Maid of Alexandria than donning a dress and learning to curtsy. Oh, so she's not like other girls. Got it. But when the War of 1812 erupts, the ship is captured by a British privateer, leaving her father, the captain, dead. Oh no. Deirdre watches her crew herded into the hold destined for the notorious Dartmoor prison in England. Though her fate is as a non-combatant is uncertain, she knows she must find a way to free her crew. Kieran has caused his family one too many scandals. On his way to exile in America, he is waylaid by the declaration of war and a chance to turn privateer and make his own fortune. But he regrets his actions as soon as the rich prize is secured. Ooh, he's got a conscience. We love that. We stand. Now his best chance at redeeming himself in the eyes of his family is to offer Deirdre the protection of his name in marriage. The love and loyalty clash as Kieran begins to win Deirdre's heart despite her plot to betray him. Ooh, we love that. So Kieran's plan, mend the relationship with his family, and can this fated couple find true love despite the secret lies between them? We stan, honestly. This book is 400 pages? How long are these? 322, 306, 301, 4. Oh my God. Lori, girl. This is going to be a long one. Oh my God, the last one's even longer. Okay. The last book I intend to read in September is The Dark Knight's Captive Bride. It is a standalone book by Natasha Wilde. This book cover is giving me very promotional poster of Aragorn holding the sword for Lord of the Rings Return of the King. So our main boy, Richard, he has a Scottish last name. I don't want to butcher it. Richard is the Dark Earl of Dunsmore. I don't know what Dark Earl is supposed to mean. I think it's supposed to be edgy. Seems to be that he serves King Edward. And at first it said King Edward, and I was like, I don't know if this is from the right era, because I know Regency is King George the Third. Sworn to obey his king's every order, he nevertheless chafes at the command he wed the daughter of his enemy, a man who slew his father in cold blood. This is giving me Highland Surrender vibes when, what was her name? Felicia. She was refusing to actually put effort into her marriage with Miles because she believed that his father killed her mother. I haven't read that book. Go read it. It was really good. But King Edward wants peace in his lands, and he will stop at nothing to get it. If he has to order his most powerful marcher lord to marry a Welsh princess, he'll consider it a small price to pay. Oh, so she's Welsh. Okay, that's interesting. So I did have to pause here for a minute because it kept saying King Edward, and I was like, is this actually like Regency? So there's been a lot of Edwards, like kings, Edward of England. So I had to do some math because King Edward the First was like in the 1300s, and I was like, that's not right. And then King Edward the Second is also in the 1300s, and I was like, that's not right either. So I basically just kept going forward until we got to somewhere that was about right. So I personally believe that the king that this is talking about is King Edward the Sixth. Edward VI was the son of Henry VIII and Jane Seymour. So, context to this, it's 16th century. Oh no, it doesn't actually. Okay, I was hella wrong. Oh boy, okay. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm doing some math here. Okay, because when I read this, it said just King Edward. It didn't say like King Edward blank. So I did the math, and for some reason, even though I know and we have established that Regency era was 1811 to 1812, I for some reason settled on that this is set in the 16th century and that this is talking about King Edward VI, who's the son of Henry VIII and Jane Seymour. Reason why I believed that is because during the rule of Edward VI, there was a huge war with Scotland. And I was like, ooh, this has to be right. And I settled on that, not realizing that I hadn't read the rest of the synopsis at the time. And then it said that our main girl is a Welsh princess. So now I'm like, ooh, okay, so does this have to do with bringing Wales into the fold? Like, what time period is this? War looms again between Wales and England. When were Wales and England at war? I am stupid. Oh, is this maybe talking about Edward the First? Because the conquest of Wales by Edward conquest of Wales by Edward the First was 1277 to 1283, right? Okay, so it's Edward the First. Okay, we're good. Okay, so I was hella wrong. This one is an extreme outlier. It's 13th century. Can I change it? It's my list. Should I just like straight up change it right now and like do something different? Hold on. We're visiting the Kindle list. I don't want to read another Melanie Dickerson book. I'm already reading 3 out of 5. I don't want to make this like Melanie Dickerson month. Although I could. I'm not gonna. This time. You know what? Whatever. This one sounds really interesting and I want to read it anyway. This is going to be our outlier, okay? Let me have it, okay? It sounds interesting and I want to read it and I make the decisions here. So we're going to read this one. So this book seems to be taking place in like the 13th-ish century. We're going to go with that, okay? We're just going to settle on 13th century and call it a day. So our main girl is a princess. Her name is Princess Gwen. Her name is Gwen. I'm not going to insult any Welsh people by pretending I know how to pronounce that.
Gwen Xian.
Nope, her name's Gwen. Her name's Gwen. So our girl Gwen is forced to marry Richard. She quakes at his fierceness and brutality. She's a wallflower. But does her duty to her father and her people, knowing she will never surrender to her enemy. In the halls of the Black Hawk's great keep, Gwen. Okay, so they do call her Gwen. Okay, I'm not going to feel as bad now. Gwen glimpses a man who can be tender and passionate, who teaches her about breathtaking sensuality and a desire so great it threatens every vow she ever made to keep her heart locked tight. Ooh, me and who? That's it. This is the book I needed right now. As war once more looms between Wales and England, Gwen realizes a terrible truth. She's in love with the enemy. When long-buried secrets threaten to destroy her fragile happiness, she must make a terrible choice or watch the man she loves sacrifice his life to save hers. Ooh. You know, I don't care if it's outside of the time period that I decided on. I know this book is going to slap. I know this whole month is just going to be banger after banger, and every one of these books is going to slap. We can have one outlier. It's okay. So yeah, these are the books I'm going to be reading in September. It's going to be historical romance month. Not Regency month. We'll just settle on historical romance month. And in the midst of all this, I'm going to be reading some other books that I have on my TBR, more of like a secret TBR, like sequels to books that I've already read that I want to continue, or like my little secret project that I'm working on. So this is going to be a really, really good month for me. I am so excited. Oh my God, I love historicals. I'm so excited to start reading them again because I've been reading a lot of YA recently, and I think this is going to be a banger month. Whew, I'm so ready. But that is it for me today. So if you'd like to see more of me, you can find me on Twitter at HuntressGia and on Twitch at HuntressGia, where I do variety content. My Twitch channel seems to be equal parts cozy and unhinged because I'm bipolar, and those are both ends of my spectrum. What can I say? I upload a new VOD every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central. If you are interested in, if you can't catch any of my streams, if you'd like to watch them or have me in the background while I'm playing through some of these games. I've been playing through Spiritfarer recently. I've been playing through Pokemon Black because I missed out on doing that as a kid. We've been doing The Witcher 2. I started Plague Tale Innocence in August because Plague Tale Requiem is going to be coming out in, I believe, October. It's coming out in October. So I wanted to start playing that to get ready for Plague Tale Requiem. Yeah, I play one new game a month. I used to do a new game every week, but that became a little bit too overwhelming. But yeah, my content varies between like Pokemon and Nintendo content in one corner and then story-based games in the other corner. So we've just been having a good old time lately. I just do whatever I want. I don't plan anything. I don't really have a schedule because I can't really have one due to my own life. So if you're interested in finding me on Twitch, you're more than welcome to. Remember to drink water and be nice to each other and exude kindness and empathy with everything that you do. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!